Ah, so, response video to Ajsims19. I'm sorry it took me like long time to. Been just so fucking busy and tired and all this. Ugh, life thing. So, yeah, context a little bit. This person like commented on one of my comments on some video about David Benatar's argument, and he made you know, some comments, and I talked about responded to those comments in my previous video, and so this person's like, hey, like that was my comment, and yeah, this and that, and he. So then I said, yeah, he wanted to have a discussion and this, so I said, yeah, sure, you can email me about it, and so this is the email that he sent me, so we'll read that and respond to it and see where we're disagreeing. So, but first things first, I hit the bowl. I like this. This tiny capsule to take you up there. So, hello, Mr. Blaze. Hello. I am Ajsims19 from your comment section on YouTube from your most recent video. To begin, let me apologize for my rudeness in your comment section. It's fine. I was acting on emotion and not logic. Yeah, we do. Even I do that. We're human beings. We've been, this. We've been maturated in a way that emotions they take over us. But that's the first step, recognizing, and that's very good. I was very uncivilized. No, seen much more uncivilized shit on the internet. But I'm here for a civilized conversation about FLism. Yeah, that's good stuff. Let me be clear, I'm not here to debunk or hate on it, just want to share some of my own personal views on some of its points. Sure. First, I do not believe nature is evil. Now, this is one of the things, right? I like nature, evil, these are all words, right? So, we have to be like, what should be mm, the the right word to define something, right? So when we say nature is evil, I do say that, but now I would like would say the more accurate way to say is nature is negative. It's a a cycle, the cycle of this torture and suffering. It's negative to the beings, the sentient beings who will experience it. But yeah, let's say if we can use evil, right? Yeah, I'm not saying that nature is some sort of entity that has the capability to make decisions, and that's that's why it's evil. No, that's not the argument. It's like somebody, some person is harming an animal, for example, brutally, and just you're like fuck. So you would say that person is evil. Why? Because he's doing an evil act, or or that person is stupid because and it's he's doing something which is wrong, which is bad. And why is it bad? That's the question. Why is it bad? Why is it evil? Because it causes suffering to the sentient being who is experiencing it. So if that act is caused, right, is by whatever now, a human being, or I don't know, uh, some disease, whatever, it's evil, or I would say negative is the right word, because it will the suffering will be experienced by someone else, by some sentient. So let me be clear, I do not believe it is good or motherly either. Yeah, obviously, that's it's insane to call it motherly. When they say mother nature, I believe it is blind and indifferent. But it's not indifferent in the sense of it's like we shouldn't be indifferent about the outcome of it, right? If we're gonna say that uh, somebody causing suffering to some sentient being causing suffering to another sentient being, that is for no good reason, right? That is negative, evil. Nature, this life thing, is existing on this planet for no good reason. There's no uh, purpose. There's nowhere to go. So it's causing suffering. This process is causing suffering to sentient beings. So we shouldn't be indifferent about the outcome, that is the suffering being experienced by sentient beings. So just because it is, we shouldn't be, and I think that's you get that too. That's obvious, and like I think I'm presuming you're an atheist as well. So it has no will of its own, or as you said in a video once, it's like giving the car keys to a retard, or something along the lines of that. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, it's dumb, it's dumb. It's it's like the process is dumb and negative, and it is an evil process because it causes suffering to sentient beings. So yeah, we should be the intelligence should be making the decisions, not dumb nature, or a dumb process, or a dumb person, or a retard. I also do understand your logic when you say it would be best for nothing to exist. It makes sense. Yeah, if there's no sentient life, there's no harm, there's and there's no like corollary in like some when you're in non-existent before sentient life was evolved on planet. It wasn't like they were in some other place experiencing torture, right? So if nothing, if there's no if there's Mars, right, there's nothing bad about it, and there's no such thing as a good, because there's no reason, no need for Martians or Earthlings or whatever things, you know. So and and why would you establish a need? How would you establish a need? The only way to establish a need would be if it prevents. Like first you have to explain why those beings that which would be illogical just on its face, like those beings are in some purgatory somewhere suffering, so they need to exist, so we are saving them. First you have to make that argument, and then you have to make the argument of, oh, what will they do here, what is the, you know, is, what, like, why would they exist? The why is the important question. Why would a negative cycle continue to exist, you know, which is demonstrably negative. You look at Earth, you're like, oh fuck, all this blood. So it's the zero is not bad. That's the key thing. Zero is not a negative number, and that's the real thing. That's the real win. Being in not negative. Zero is perfect. It's perfect. So there's nothing, it's zero. There's no negative, and there's no such thing as a positive. It's just a delusion in the human brain that we've made some positives. Like, there's no intrinsic positive because there's no need for life to perpetuate or to initiate or to be initiated. So yeah, after that he says, the only issues I really have with your views are promortalist views, mainly because you make it seem like people must commit suicide. Uh, it's like, it's recognizing that your life, your continuation of existence is going to is not going to be free. It's going to be at a price, and the price is animals being tortured for your clean water, for your, you know, for your potatoes, mice, and all for your everything. They're being tortured daily. So yeah, it would be very small, in the sense only one being, one person gets out and say, yeah, fuck it, I'm causing all this suffering. Yeah, if I get out, I'm gonna prevent all the suffering that I'm causing and the risk of more suffering, and you know, not just on myself, but you know, all this other, you know, all these other sentient here. So it would be a very tiny reduce in the overall net suffering, but it will still be a reduce. So that's the thing, that's it becomes a very you know, strong, it makes a very strong case once you say, hey, it will prevent your suffering, that you're, like, basically you're existing, you're suffering. It's there's no way to get around this. Not just like suffering in the sense you're feeling pain right now, but also the risk. How long does your life last? You know, and what was the real price in terms of what it cost, of how many, you know, people were exploited in the third world, for example, or if you're, you know, if people, like, how many people eat meat and, you know, all these animal products, and you know, that's a price. So if you can't control that, yeah, you must commit suicide then. So let's say, look, I support the right to die. Now the right to die is, that's just obvious, right? You're here, you're like, hey, I understand this whole fucking game, this is bullshit. I don't need to give anybody an explanation. I just said it's my right to do what I want with my body. Yeah, I'm getting out of here. Fuck you. Peacefully, as I want it to be. The methods that I choose. So that's just plain old simple. I believe it's a beautiful idea, yes, and would give humans freedom in both life and death. And death, I think you want to say. But I don't believe that people should commit suicide all the time. It's a personal choice, and if one wants to die, they should be allowed to do so. It's a personal choice. Like if I'm gonna grant you this argument, right? I'm going to have to grant, to, oh, it's my personal choice. I wanna have a kid. It's my personal choice. It's my personal choice. I wanna eat meat. It's my personal choice. I wanna rape. It's my personal choice. I wanna horribly, brutally murder someone. It's my personal choice. It's not a good argument. So, and the fact is that we don't make, there's no you making a decision, right? There's no such thing as a you, because this again, it's just be all the time being uh, controlled by your circumstance wherever you find yourself in. So that's what's gonna make you. So, like, I can, that person would, I can impose a lot of suffering on that person, give some disease or something, and be like, kill me, kill me, kill me, kill me. So is that a personal choice? Yeah, it is a personal choice, but it's like, it's all, at the end of the day, it's influences from this, from where you're, basically wherever you're stuck, it's gonna make you. So uh, it should be the right choice. Once the brain recognizes the whole game, the right choice becomes, hey, non-existence is better than existence. And then once the brain recognizes, hey, all these other beings are basically the same, and they're also playing the same game of uh, getting through the day, struggling, getting hungry, all this other crap, and so you're like, yeah, it's best for them too to cease to exist. The best thing for a sentient is cessation. The best thing for sentience is cessation. That's the that's the link of ethylism and promortalism. That's the red button. You're obligated now to, once you know this, once we know the truth that all these beings are stuck, because you're just stuck too, right? You have to recognize that fact first. So then you have to be like, hey, we have to cessate all this mm, unnecessary suffering, which is the cost of sentience perpetuating to exist. It's, and also, like, you know personal choice. I don't know what I want to add in this. It's then at least they have to acknowledge, right? If somebody will say, no, I want to continue to live, then they should say that, yeah, torture millions of rats, all these animals for my 50 years or 60 years of life. I'm worth it. I'm worth it. They should be like full, like acknowledge that they're so fucking egotistical. And then these same people call me egotistical, or you think you know everything, all this other crap. I mean, fuck. So it's like, they should acknowledge that, yes, I'm choosing, it's my personal choice to cause all this suffering by continuing to exist. Now, the point where, like, I want to, like, one thing that I would interject is, when I say they should commit suicide, I'm presuming that the right to Nembutal, to the peaceful pill, is like, it's readily available. It's like, there's no taboo, nothing. Everybody's like, yeah, if you wanna die, no problem, right? So in that case, I'm not saying that, yeah, risk yourself, because if you do some other means and you risk, even you might not die, and that's a risk. So it would be uh, better to continue to exist to prevent that risk and find a more peaceful way to die, right? So It's not like commit suicide right now. Promortalism, no, commit suicide right now. It's not like that. Like you have to, uh, get the, what do you say, the, the right time. You have to uh, see and recognize that the sooner it is, the better. That's the main point. The sooner it happens, the better. Now, how soon is, like, like if you have an embutol in your hand and every being on this planet is sterilized, right? Or like let's not even say that. Right? Let's say all every other being, every other sentient. There's nobody on Earth except, one, you, and you have an embutol, and you know all this thing that, hey, if I take an embutol, I'll just go to sleep and I won't wake up. So once you know that, hey, there's nothing to save here, right? There's no reason to continue existence because there's no deficit that I'm fixing, then yeah, it's best that you commit suicide. It's you must, for your own, for this machine, because if it'll perpetuate, it's on the risk of suffering, and its perpetuation will again, I it's so hard to even grant you that thing, because for its perpetuation it's always going to be a price. So it's more about the imposition of suffering rather than the prevention of your own suffering. So you recognize, hey, just by breathing, for 1 day more, I will cause this much amount of suffering. You do the calculations, you see all the food, where it comes from, all the calories you consume, and then all the other, schemes you play, and, with, like, getting through the day, all the interactions you have with other human beings, all this other crap, and what it could do, how it can affect others. You're like, fuck, it's best that I don't exist tomorrow. It's better. It's and again, it's not like they say, oh, you people like value, you people want to die, so you want everybody else to die too. No, it's not that. It's recognizing death is only good. I'm only, again, there's no such thing as an intrinsic good. Death is only good because in comparison, the other state is existence, and that is, that is non-existence is better than existence. That is Mars. That is better never to have been. And once you take the better never to have been pill, the whatever pill or whatever idea, just this eureka thing, you can't escape the better to no longer be idea. It'll be like, oh, there's no reason. So, but yeah, right now, right, like practicality. It's like it's so hard to do all of this. But let's say, like, you're a doctor and you sterilize animals, uh, or you can sterilize human beings. You can give them vasectomies, and you can euthanize. You're a vet, for example. Yeah, these are very good reasons to exist. No, don't commit suicide. Live so we can end the cycle of suffering that is going on this planet. That's a good reason to live, and that would, in that case, it becomes an obligation to live. You know, but the if you would recognize that cessation is going to end all of this suffering, then you should be principled about it, and your mission in this life should be according to that. That, hey, I should, you know, all right, yeah, we recognize existence as negative or sentient beings. Let's find a way to euthanize them as peacefully as we can, and like, and just end this blight on Earth. So that is what, that if that is the mission, yeah, then it's right, you should live. But now once you look at where we are at now, you're like, hey, I can do my part, right? To And this is another thing. They say make it better. Like you can do something to make it better. And that's good, right? Because but again that's only good, right? When you can compare it to a negative, right? Mm, 8 billion human beings on earth is better than 16 billion human beings on earth. Or if uh, we reduce if we reduce the amount of animals being tortured in the slaughterhouses and all these medical testing and stuff, it's better than what it is now, right? But you can't say that, yeah, I will exist for making it better, because then you're stuck back in the same cycle of, you know, yeah, just keep on perpetuation, 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 perpetuation. Just keep living, 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 living. And that's where all the risk is. That's where all the uncertainty is. So the reason as a collective human intelligence should be to cessate sentient life on Earth. Simple. That should be. It's not about it. Yeah, you can make it better. Blah blah blah. All this crap. Yes. Then, if that's the case, right? If cessation can't happen, right? If cessation can never happen, which is like, it will happen. It's just a matter of time. And the uncertainty. This If cessation can't happen, then yeah, this argument would be made that then you have to live to make it better. But at the end of the day, how many people are doing that? We're just selfish organisms playing for ourselves most. And how many people are having these conversations? It's a it's a very bad story. And if somebody just wants to say, hey, fuck this, I want to get out of it, or if I convince someone and they're like, hey, wait a minute, you make a lot of sense when you say, if I die tomorrow, then I will prevent my own suffering and the suffering I will cause. So even though I'm so much happy right now and I'm enjoying life so much, I recognize the truth. It's only because this brain is conscious, and once it's unconscious, there's no need for all the happiness and all this other crap. So yeah, I think that's the right option, and I'll do that. You're right. And I convince someone to commit suicide. They have the means to go to Switzerland, and they go and they cessate their existence as peacefully as they can. What was the harm? Like nothing. Now you can say that again. You can say you could have convinced him of, hey, continue to live and fight for ephilism or veganism or anything. And yeah, I could have done that too. But again, by perpetuation, I'm I'm taking a risk of, you know, the uncertainty in the future. I can't be sure that this brain will be the same. I can't be sure about my own brain, right? So you have to recognize all of this stuff, that it's a it's best that everything ceases to exist sooner, as soon as it can happen. And once we recognize that, we should all our focus should be on that. So I what else can we say about this? Fucking hell. Work bottle. They give you these bottles and they print your name on a sticker and say, "Oh, this is for you." while you fuck yourself up working for us at low wages. Here's a gift. Ah, fucking hell. So yeah, it's not. It's that they should recognize. People should recognize that we all should cease to exist as soon as we can. Now, if they, you can't, if you would say that, oh, they can't ever recognize that, then it's I don't see that because I've recognized that, right? I've recognized that, hey, if I have the money, I can save enough money, right? I have enough money, sorry, to go to Switzerland and just goodbye, sayonara, whatever, you know. Yeah, I do that. Even though I think in my head, right, that I have value in continuing to exist because I can, you know, make arguments while I'm alive, and that's a good thing. But only good. But it's only good because it might prevent future suffering. But again, for that even too, I can say I don't need to exist for that. I can, write a book or make videos or document or something. Just paint or some. I don't have to torture my physical body. I don't have to put this physical body in this risk environment of who knows what could happen, at the end of the day. So even then, I can say, yeah, just do that and get out of it, and because I know just by perpetuation, just by when I take a shit and flush it down the toilet, it goes in the ocean and it fucks up the fish environment, and it's you just can't escape this this first of all that you are basically running, that once you're alive you can't, like, to maintain your homeostasis you have to do something. You have to control you have to satiate your hunger, quench your thirst, you know, to feel okay, like, oh, it's not too cold, not too warm, all this you have to keep on doing all of that. So you're in a constant cycle of running away from negatives. You have to always do that, and at the same time, for your moments of pleasure and positive or conveniences, you're causing all this suffering. So there's no reason to perpetuate existence. It's for your personal, the best selfish thing, cessation. The best thing as a collective, cessation. Collective sentience, cessation. Red button, done. It's there's no there's no way to counter argue this. Either you're pro life or you're pro mortalist.